Recording in progress.
Thank you. Recording has been in progress. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's hit it. I say let's hit it, and I don't even have my shit up. All right. I mean it this time. Let's hit it. Hello, hello, and welcome to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace, and I'm the AB. We're glad you could join us today. Happy Unwed Father's Day. Your pullout game is weak, bro. Also, happy Juneteenth. Hopefully this is a 3-day weekend for most of you out there, and if it isn't, then I think that sucks. This is the first official holiday, so make the most of it out there, I'm telling you. All right, I'm ready to go already. So are you. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Let's meet today's All-Stars. First up, everybody knows this next guy. The nurse at the sperm bank asked him if he'd like to masturbate in the cup. He said, well, I'm pretty good, but I don't think I'm ready to compete just yet. It's the master blaster of metacomps everywhere, TewtyTron. Welcome to the show, pal.
Hello. You know, I probably would get second place. In that
second place. Okay. Okay. Well, you'd be on the podium, right?
I'd be on the podium. I would have a medal of some sort. I don't know if it's for winning, but I'll take it.
Right on, man.
Amazing.
Well, we're glad to have you today, pal. All right. Next up, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. He told me his nickname in high school was Spider-Man. I said, why Spider-Man? He said, because we both had sticky white stuff all over our hands. It's Retpmus. What's happening, Big Kahuna?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Those were bangers.
Yes, they were. Those were great. I'm telling you, you need to literally take up and get all these from all the shows and just make like the roast greatest hits and put it out there. And I'm telling you, it would be a hit. I guarantee you, your views would be like skyrocketing for that because this is like great stuff, man.
I don't know. I appreciate it, but I don't know about that. Thank you, guys.
I'm happy.
You know, speaking of Father's Day real quick.
Sure.
You know, I found out some interesting statistics about Father's Day. It's like a very, very low totem pole holiday. If you look, number one, of course, is Christmas.
Sure.
Right. And then number two is Mother's Day.
Right.
Really?
Right. Yeah. Number two is Mother's Day. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Kind of crazy, huh? So think about it, you know, so in everybody's mind, you know, Jesus is first, then your mother, right? That's the order. Okay. So if you want to go that route, you know, spiritual, whatever. Okay. And then your mom, right? Father's Day's number 20. It's like it's even past Arbor Day, and people don't even know what that is.
Arbor, I know what Arbor Day
out there
is.
paying child support for them to care.
Right.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy that it's that low of a holiday. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of crazy. I just wanted to share it real quick.
No, it's a great stat. I love it.
Happy
I'm a big
Unwed
Halloween
Father's
guy
Day.
myself.
Me too. I was born on Halloween.
Ooh.
Oh my
Yeah.
I love
God.
that. That's a spooky birthday.
Yes, it is. I always had fun.
I always considered like I always take a new Rebirth theme every now and again, and currently I'm on like Enraged characters, but I've like really in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to do all the spooky characters like Scarecrow, Batman Who Laughs, people who are just spooky. That would be super fun.
Yes, it would.
Well, speaking of which, I think it's time. Maybe we get into some DCL.
Let's do it.
All right. I want to kick us off and I want to ask a question. Does size matter? It's on Father's Day, and I think this is an important question to ask. Does size matter?
I don't know if it really matters. I mean, you can ask a lot of people out there. It can, but if you have the right tool for the job, I think you can power through pretty much anything.
Right. Right.
As a 4.5 to 5 incher, I really do believe that it's the way you use it.
It's the motion of the ocean, right?
Exactly.
Agreed. I agree with you. Hey, because hey, there's some 8 to 10ers out there that don't know how to use it, and they're horrible.
Yep.
And you would know from experience?
Absolutely.
All right. Nice. I was hoping you'd say yes.
I can't even contemplate if
I know.
was a hole for that thing. Come on. I know.
Like, tame the dragon. Okay. Actually, no, what I was really talking about, as funny as that is, I know
what you're talking about, buddy. I'm just messing with you.
The size of your DCL roster. Now, it shouldn't be uncommon for everybody to know. It's not uncommon to have everybody unlocked. I've had everybody unlocked for, gosh, who knows how long. New players may not have that luxury just yet, but give it some time and you will. But even if you have all the characters unlocked, that doesn't mean you're constantly using all of them. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this, Retpmus. Did I word that right? Because I know you're the one who brought it up to me. And I just want to make sure that I'm representing your question right there. But what is the optimal number of daily tunes that you use, and why?
I pretty much use, I would say, a handful, probably less than 8 characters. Right. I mean, you're going to, sadly, if you want to be competitive or be able to, clear, Nightmare Challenge or Siege, you got to have the tunes that are going to do the job. So usually they are the meta tunes that, your Spectre, Superman, Supergirl, characters like that are going to be dominant. And there's reasons why everybody seeks those characters out. And they're not going to seek out a character like Blue Beetle or Joker Damaged Goods because they just don't work. They're not effective, and they're very hard to make them work in a team comp. You can make any character work in a team comp. So don't get me wrong there, because I do that all the time, just have fun with some of my other characters. Like Dr. Fate's one of my favorite characters, in the game, period. And even though I have him RB5, he gets taken out by, L5 characters. And that's kind of really disappointing to me. But, to me, I use, I'll usually go with the, it's kind of like a current meta right now with Darkseid lead, Darkseid lead, Terra, Supergirl, and Spectre.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the one. That's what I do. Yeah, exactly. And the reason I chose that team is because I can just auto it whenever I'm trying to get stuff done and hit a button. But I have been replacing Terra with Connor because I like his 4 hits that he gets off when under Darkseid. Was kind of cool. And then now I like running Darkseid, Superboy, Etrigan, and Supergirl. So they all get multiple hits. Like you're going to get 4 hits with Etrigan, 4 hits with Superboy. If Supergirl already has some of her buffs on there, she can get up to 4 hits as well. So you just annihilate everybody. There's no need to go in the roster if you're able to complete those only for a fun factor. And I do switch it up for the fun factor because I don't like, the game's going to become stale to you if you do the same team over and over and do nothing else.
Right.
So that's why I try to mix it up. So in overall thing, does size matter in a competitive state? Not really. If you have the meta tunes, it doesn't matter there. But if you want longevity in the game, it does matter.
So
I agree with that, and mainly because of the fact that I also unfortunately gravitate towards my small pool of characters. And I think, was it for my Desaad video that I did recently, someone asked me, it might have been you, Retpmus, I can't remember it, to do some video with Mr. Miracle. And I was like, I don't really like Mr. Miracle. He just doesn't seem very fun or whatever. And I just don't feel like he's very effective. And I brought him because somebody requested it. And I was like, holy fuck. Like this, he's performing. He's doing everything I want him to do. Like he's making these fights easy for me. And you just forget that those characters exist, that those characters have those capabilities because they're just not in your pool. Like I think I have a larger pool than most people do because I do try and include as many characters as I can. But like with the roster being as big as it is, with the game not really having a great like filter system or like a good way to like navigate through the roster, a good 70-ish characters probably are just sitting there waiting for me to touch them, and I never do. So,
yeah.
Kind of like me on a Saturday night, you know, I'm waiting for somebody to touch me. Nobody ever does.
Oh man. Well, I have that same problem. No,
I don't know why, but that one song, who sings it? Like, I touch myself.
Right. The Divine.
That just pops in my head.
I touch myself. That's a great song too. Dig it. It reminds me of Austin Powers, and it always will. You know.
Yeah.
But no, I've got a similar point to make too. I've got a couple more than Retpmus does. I've got about 10 that I kind of rotate through every day, either to accomplish feats or because I'm just stingy with my speed force crystals. For whatever it's worth, I don't want to do that. So I do rotate about a couple of extra guys in there, but it's not much. I wouldn't say that it's any great stretch to say that it's any more or less than you get. Connor is the latest addition to my daily tune because he's a really great tune. After his rework, I thought he was fantastic, and he fits a lot. He fits in a lot of my comps, so more power to him. But I can't add anything else to that, really.
I think that WB does a good job at rotating our pools for us in the way, like, because you guys are talking about Connor, and I still personally use Daddy quite a lot. You know, it's Father's Day. Hopefully, people are using Parallax in their teams today. But like, there are a couple of those more recent characters that we focus on because they're as modern as it can get. Their stats are not power crept. They're hopefully able to be used within the meta. I have seen a slight drop off in Ursa already, but Mongol, ever since his taunt fell off, I still see him around. And whatchamacallit, Punchline even is still like around quite a bit. Captain Atom as well. But those are all recent characters.
Right.
And WB does a very good job at making the last 6 months or so continuously relevant within those 6 months. And I'm okay with the way that works. I know that because the roster is so big, you know, we try and use our Dr. Fates, which were reworked fucking 4 years ago, and shit like that. And I think Rebirth definitely helps bring those characters back a little bit. Hopefully Fate gets either another rework or a stat boost soon. But let's talk about stat boosts. Like,
right.
Reeves said that those are going to be continuously a thing.
I know.
If it's 4 every month, fuck yes. That will bring
definitely
so many characters back out of the blue. I did a poll asking the community what the characters they would want to be stat boosted. And the top 3, and like they had the biggest gap. The top 3 had at least 34 votes each, and then number 4 was only like 17 votes total. So that's a very big gap. And number 3 was Donna Troy. Number 2 was Doomsday, and number 1 was Wonder Woman POT, or Princess of Themyscira. All 3 of those I think would be phenomenal. I think Doomsday is literally just there because of raids. Like, people are considering him a great solo raid character, and you know I'm all for it. But obviously Donna Troy and Wonder Woman POT have been kind of very much so power crept, and it's annoying because my power, or Princess of Themyscira, is Rebirth 1, and she's still 3/4 of my roster through a scroll, like not even 8,000 power, and I don't know, it's a struggle. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I'm waiting on a rework for her because I have enough shards to RB5 her, and I'm waiting. And I've always liked the character. I think if she just had like a can't miss on her move, so Harley wouldn't kill her right off the bat when you try to take it. If she had a can't miss on her attack and just a power bump, you know, the stat up, that's all she needs. I mean, everything else she does is still perfectly relevant. I mean, she's going to shed off all the debuffs, you know, with no trouble. She does what was one of two moves. She'll either shed off the buffs or she'll counterattack, depending on what's on your team.
Mm-hmm.
If you have nothing on your team. But I still think her kit's completely viable. To her, a stat boost would actually suffice.
And her kit specifically, because I think she has a very unique set of stuff in her leadership where she gets 60% additional agility and 15% additional speed from her leadership. So if her stats go up, that percentage increase is going to skyrocket. And then that's going to make her even better than she is. I whipped her out recently because Power Girl got that stat boost. And so she became a little bit more commonly seen in PvP. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'll bring Wonder Woman POT and I'll whip the shit out of her. And it was amazing. It was so good.
Awesome. Yeah, I like her Fury of Zeus move. That's a really cool move.
It's also her like quintessential look as well. Like all of the other Wonder Women in the game are they're great for what they are, especially the Gal Gadot one. We love that one.
Right.
But this one is the one that like everybody knows. The basic skin is far superior to the legendary version and even the bombshell version. Like I don't care about that one at all.
I like the Daisy Dukes though.
She doesn't look terrible. I'll give you that. She looks good, but I love the classic.
And I love the hair up in the little tie that she has, a little bow tie on top of her head on the bombshell one. I think she's kind of sexy that way.
Yeah, I could see it now.
The other way's the warrior, like, I'm a badass, I'm going to kick your ass look. And the other one's like, I'm sexy and I can kick your ass look.
Right. But that's always been the thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like sitting on her and also the Gal Gadot version to RB5, both of those, because I have enough shards for both of them. And I'm just waiting. And we'll probably never see Gal Gadot's version.
Right.
Redone. I'm hoping the Defender of Justice one, the DOJ one, does, because if you look at that model, that model is superb. They really, sculpted that character fantastic for in-game modeling. I think if you look at that and look at like all the characters, if you really look at DOJ, it's highly, highly detailed. It really is, especially if you're able to bring it up on a computer monitor and make it like full screen so you can see all the detail in the armor and all the intricacies that are there. It's very well done.
I think it's better than Aquamoa for sure, by far.
Oh yeah. Aquamoa seems like he has like Tourette's or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something weird going on about him.
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of things, a lot of characters definitely can be just fixed with a stat boost, like you said, Tootie. And I'm so glad they're doing that now, because it's going to bring some life back into characters that we've had to bench because they just die. Not that they suck, they're just so power crept.
Yep.
Exactly. And I'd be curious to see if there's going to be a rhyme and reason with this. So you know how they do, new tunes and reworks that are of a similar theme. Will they keep the stat boost tunes to that similar theme, or will they be random?
They probably have a list. I think they always have like a plan for so far out.
Sure.
And whatchamacallit, like when we voted on those characters in November, for instance, they gave us 10 characters to vote from, and I think 6 or 7 of them at this point have been reworked. I'm just waiting on, I think it's 6, because Captain Boomerang, Vandal Savage, Ocean Master, and one more I can't think of off the top of my head. Penguin. Those are the 4 that have yet to be reworked from that list of 10. And they probably gave us those list of 10 because they're like, well, we're going to rework them anyway within the next year. So let's just let them vote on the soonest one, I guess. So I think that has, they probably have a list of some sort of like, okay, these are the ones that need the most love. And I did send that voting tally to them as well and be like, okay, this is what the community wants. So I hope these are on your list.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about that. There's a lot of characters, though, I would personally love if they got a stat boost. Ra's al Ghul needs a fucking stat boost.
Yeah.
Saint Walker, I think, would be awesome with a stat boost.
Yeah.
His whole thing is stats. Like his whole leadership is stats.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a Reverse Flash is another good one.
Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets about him.
Yeah, he was part of the meta back in the day.
He was.
And DOJ together. Remember that meta, Tootie? It was like,
yes, it was so annoying.
Yeah, it dominated everything. That's when I brought Dr. Fate in, because whenever he was debuffed, he would go off with his power move and attack the whole team with the counter, and that was destroyed.
So long ago.
I wish they would bring that back. I love
that was
that
before
AOE.
Reworks even existed, pretty much.
Yes,
oh,
I loved Dr. Fate back then, just because of that move.
Yeah, Dr. Fate back then was like the OG of the blue affinity group. There, he was the most sought after character,
and he was damn good. There's a couple white whales left. I think Shazam is still a good whale, other than the fact that he did have 2 random 6 days like within the scope of a year. But if you miss that year, then Shazam is still a very big whale character.
Yeah, I agree. He's actually a great tune.
Yes and no. Mine's Rebirth 5, and I still like. There's room for improvement.
Well, if he if he had 100% on that damage immunity, he would be really awesome.
Well, it's just even his new passive. It gave him a rework last year or 2, whatever. It's fucking trash. Like it's like not a good passive whatsoever. The legendary point on it is fine, but the 5 strength downs on if a teammate's HP is below 30%, I'm like, that's fucking trash. That's awful. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's some characters that are still in here where they like give 1 buff or they remove 1 buff, debuff. I mean, that's like some of the older ones that have never been touched. Those desperately need rework.
Well, even looking at Granny right now, like she's got a new passive that is like 5% true damage on an enemy and 5% heal at the end of her turn. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? That is nothing. 5% true damage? That's like you're tickling them at that point.
It should be like a minimum of 15.
Yeah. And even then, like Mongol has that. And 15% doesn't feel like anything.
Right.
If you're not going to have damage and true damage combined, the amount of true damage needs to be significant, because that is awful.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a character that can either 1, trigger doom effects immediately, or 2, just do 100% true damage on 1 ability as like an execute. It would obviously probably want to start on a cooldown or have just a very long cooldown in general, but I'm waiting for that character to happen. I hope it happens soon. I was hoping it would be fucking Ra's al Ghul, because his ability, it literally impales you with his sword.
Yeah,
and
it should have like a 1 to 2% for an instant kill.
Right. Yes, that would be amazing. Like ignore all immunities, ignore all awarenesses, ignore every defensive thing. 2% chance to just fucking brutally murder them.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be amazing. I would, and when it happened, I'd be like, "Oh fuck, here we go." Did I record that? Did I record that?
We would see that video everywhere.
It would be awesome.
So I want to go back to something you brought up before, Granny. I don't have her really geared and unlocked at this point. Do you have any early thoughts on her, Tootie, that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So she has goods and bads. I did a Tootietron for her recently, and a lot of people, Zuzu is in Discord just telling me himself, like, man, watching that, you were very 50-50. You were like very disappointed, and then you were very impressed, and then you were disappointed, and then you were impressed. And that's kind of how I feel still to this moment. Like her third ability does very good damage. It does one-shot most greens. And I only have her L3. Right, and I have a very heavily rebirthed roster, so L3 performing that well is a pretty significant thing in my book. I don't like that her kit is so all over the place. I think that It doesn't really focus on anything. It's just like it has silence, it has bleeds, it has enrage, it has damage and tankiness. Like there's pretty much everything, but it also doesn't have a lot of those things. Like Harley Quinn still destroys her.
Right.
You know? And I honestly, I'm like, why can Harley Quinn still compete? Like, there's so much anti-evasion. Sorry, Biffs.
Yeah.
And like Harley Quinn to this day is still destroying blues. And I don't remember when she was. I feel like it was early last year, last time she got a rework.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still some time for her to be power crept a little bit, but also she is one of the most rebirth characters in the game. So I'm probably fighting a lot of rebirth 4 or 5 Harleys. But that being said, like under a dark side, it's cool because she can, if you use her basic attack and then she uses it again, she can stun someone in the same exact turn. A lot of times though, she'll like hit one person and then hit a separate person, and it's like, what? No, like hit the same fucking person, please.
I've noticed that happening quite a bit. Like I'll have like for Etrigan, this happened. I forget what the characters were, but just to say slot number 1 and number 3.
Right.
Okay. I attacked number 3. Then his second ability attacked to the number 1.
Yeah.
Then went back and attacked number 3. Then went and attacked number 1 because it was under dark side. So he like jumped here, jumped there, jumped here, jumped there. And I was just like, what's going on?
I've seen that too. Yeah. Etrigan he's jumping all over the place. He's a damn good character now. Yeah. He always has been, but his rework has just made him completely brutal. I actually think Etrigan ramps faster than Spectre does, but I think Etrigan has a cap on ramping because his buffs aren't permanent. So like you'll get a great amount of damage over the course of 3 or 4 turns, and then after that it's back to normal. But that's a whole different topic. As far as Granny goes, you know, I do mention as well that she is a fucking dominatrix. Like she looks like she's like going to, you know, put some bondage on you and whip you up a little bit.
Right.
Like she looks like a kinky, experienced old lady. Like you do not want to run into her in hospice care because she will end your life. You know what I mean? But in game, I think you could get away with slow gearing her.
Sure.
Although I do know some people just absolutely love like the Apocalypse and the New Gods characters. They call them the Fourth World characters. The Greg Whittle is the guy who taught me that. I don't really have a lot of experience with the apocalyptian comic books.
Right.
I've read
Jack
very
Kirby.
few comics in my time. So anyway, I think she's a great character, but she's also not the greatest character. So if you don't like her niches, don't worry about her.
Yeah.
She can be your slow gear.
Yeah. All right. Well, you heard it there, folks.
Yeah. And what's kind of making it kind of nice is all the characters that are coming out of recent, they're not trash. They might not be, you know, S tier, but if we don't, I mean, truly, does everybody want every character to be S tier?
Some do. Prim does. I want all characters to be B tier or low A. That would be preferable for me.
Yeah, that sounds good. I look everything that if it's all well balanced and you know micromanaged and they keep everybody on a level playing field, then that will open up your whole roster, and we won't have this handful of only these characters to play. And I would like to see that. I mean, if they bring, I mean, well, if they were all S tier, it'd be the same thing as if they were all A tier or B tier. So
yeah, you're not wrong there, actually.
So I guess if they're all pretty much, like you said, micromanaged or microbalanced or whatever term you used, if they continue to do that, which it seems like they're trying to do, especially with bringing out the respec of the characters or whatever you want to call them, stat boosts. If it seems like they're trying to go that route to try and make more of our teams viable, and I do appreciate that about them. And so I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, because otherwise it sounds like all we're doing is just pissing about the game, right?
There's been a lot of negativity, especially with like raids and shit. Like, we have known for the last like 2.5 years that the game is buggy. The team is trying, but they're probably not paid enough and not staffed well enough. Like we can only ask so much, and we need to just accept the game for what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a good note. And on that note, I think we'll make this a short episode because we're really short on staff today. But we will take it around the horn and get everybody's final word. Retmus, you are always the leadoff, buddy.
All right, gotcha. Well, I just wanted to thank you guys for being here today. It was, as always, it's wonderful to chat with you guys. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the fathers out there that may not be appreciated during this day, since we're ranked like 20th on the holiday chart. So happy Father's Day to everybody. And, now there can always be issues that people have in families because there's always family drama. And sometimes, it might separate a parent from their children, or the child leaves the parent for some reason that if you sit back and think about it, it might be so trivial or just plain outright stubbornness or stupidity that you're not talking to them. So try on this day or any day, to try and really think about, like, why am I not speaking with this person anymore? Or why are they not in my life anymore? Because you only have one life to enjoy, and it might be better with that person in your life, but it was your stubbornness or their stubbornness that kept them from your life. So if you can get past that, reach out to them. I mean, it can only make things better. We're humans and we're all stubborn, myself included, and nobody ever wants to be wrong about anything. It's my favorite grumpy saying, like, I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong, shirt.
Yeah.
And that's how we all are. And right. I mean, who wants to say, Tootie, do you want to say, yep, I'm wrong? I mean, do you, AB? I mean, nobody wants to say they're wrong, but sometimes we are. And even if we're not, sometimes just suck it in and reach out. I mean, enjoy the time. You never know. It might open up a whole entire, loving relationship again. So those are just my words for today.
Love that.
Ask my wife. She says I'm wrong all the time.
Well, wives usually do.
So that doesn't count?
Yeah, I guess it does.
All right, dog. All right. Well, thank you, Retmus. I appreciate that, pal. All right. Tootie, you get the final word today.
Thanks, sir. So today is Juneteenth. It's also Father's Day. It's also Pride Month. What else is going on in June? I don't know. It feels like action-packed. It feels like there's a lot going on. It's also like 100 fucking degrees out.
Yeah.
And June is very action-packed. It's very fast-paced. It's summertime. We're all trying to have a good time. I don't like that there's all these things all in one go, because like there was a pride parade in my town yesterday that I could not attend because, one, it was so fucking hot, and two, because we were out camping for Father's Day. So I don't like that it's have to be a pick your poison kind of thing. And what we should focus on, because all of these things are important. All of the pride is important. Father's Day is important. Juneteenth is very important. Just try and spread as much love as you can, because we're trying to celebrate all these many different things. We don't want anyone to feel like they're forgotten or left behind. If you're celebrating Juneteenth, happy of your first or second Juneteenth. I think this is the biggest celebration for it. So I'm happy for you. If you celebrated Pride yesterday, if you went on a parade and walked around and got rainbow stickers all over your face, love that for you. Good luck bottoming tomorrow. There's so many good things. If you're a dad, hug your kids, relax, enjoy yourself, and just have a happy June in general.
Well said. Well said. All right. Thank you guys so much. As always, you guys are a pleasure to have on, and I couldn't have said it any better.
Thank you.
We want to thank, and thank you, Tootie. We want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, atlantisafterdark.com. Grab some cool swag from the merch store. Get on Discord. Talk directly with us and hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. For Retpmus, for Tootietron, we'll see you all right here next time for another fabulous edition of Double AD. So long, everybody.